Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Alright, folks. Today we dive deep into a situation that's causing quite a stir in the Commanders camp. You've probably seen the clips by now. Dietrich Wise, a key piece of Washington's defensive line, went down during what was supposed to be a routine extra point. But what exactly happened? Well, Wise was rolled up from behind during that play, and you could see the concern on the field immediately. The players gathered around him, showing their support and worry, as the cart came out to take him off the field. It's always tough to see a player go down like that, especially someone like Wise, who's become a vital part of Washington's defense, not just for his pass-rushing ability, but also for his leadership and veteran presence. And the worst news came in the following day. Unfortunately, Dietrich Wise's season is over. The injury was confirmed on Friday, and it's a significant blow for the Commanders. Wise was brought in this offseason with high hopes, adding size, physicality, and pass-rushing prowess to a defensive line that's been looking to take a step forward. Last year, Wise managed to rack up 5 sacks, showing he could be a disruptive force off the edge. And in his debut with the Commanders, he didn't disappoint. He logged 28 pass rush snaps, recording 2 quarterback hurries and 2 quarterback hits, with a pressure rate of around 14.3%. Those numbers might seem modest, but they're a sign of his potential and the kind of impact he can have when healthy. He also made a couple of tackles with an assist and a defensive stop, which shows his versatility and effort. But now, with Wise out for the season, the big question becomes, who will step in? The Commanders face the challenge of finding a suitable replacement that can contribute immediately. And that's where things get really interesting, because the team has a few options, some more promising than others. One of the most intriguing possibilities might already be on the practice squad. That player is Jalen Holmes. Signed after his release from the Jets in mid-October, Holmes proved to be a versatile and reliable depth piece last season. He played 91% of his defensive snaps at defensive end in 2024, with about 73.1% aligned wide of the offensive tackle. His stats? Well, last year, he recorded some decent numbers, including a handful of tackles and pressures, and he's the kind of player who, while not flashy, brings the size and effort needed to fill in as a solid rotational piece. Holmes is not the kind of game-changer Wise was, but he could certainly help bridge the gap until the team finds a more long-term solution. Now, another option that's worth discussing is someone who's familiar with the team and has some starting experience, Foster Farrell. Farrell played through an injury last season but managed to put up modest stats as Washington's left defensive end. He's been around, knows the scheme, and can step in if needed. Still, he's not exactly the most explosive or disruptive player out there. When you're trying to replace someone like Wise, who brings physicality and pass-rushing ability, Farrell might be a stopgap, but he's unlikely to be the ultimate solution. That brings us to the broader market. If the Commanders want to aim higher, they'll need to look at the available talent pool, and trust me, there are some interesting names out there. According to Sharp Football Analysis, the NFL has a handful of players currently on the market that could fill that edge rusher role. One of the most recognizable names on the list is Jadeveon Clowney. Now, Clowney is a veteran who logged 5.5 sacks last season with the Panthers. He's 32 now, so he's not the explosive athlete he was during his Pro Bowl days. But his game has long been about run defense and his ability to provide stability up front. Clowney could be a perfect fit for Washington if they're looking for someone to bring leadership, experience, and a steady presence on the defensive line. And let's be honest, signing him might also give the Commanders an edge over division rivals. Keeping a talented player like Clowney out of the hands of teams like the Eagles or Giants could be a strategic move. Another veteran that could be on the radar is Carl Lawson. He's been somewhat injury-prone over his career, but when healthy, he's shown flashes of explosiveness. Drafted in the 4th round back in 2017 by the Bengals, Lawson has played for the Jets and the Cowboys, and last year, despite starting only 3 games, he managed to rack up 5 sacks. His ability to be used both on the edge and occasionally inside makes him a flexible option. The key here is health. Lawson's injury history is well known, but with the veteran contracts no longer requiring guaranteed money after Week 1, the Commanders could take a low-risk gamble on him, adding depth and potential upside. Now, not all options are high-profile signings. Sometimes, the best depth players come from within the league's practice squads. One such player is Brent, currently with the Ravens. Urban isn't a household name, but he's been a reliable rotational piece for Baltimore, playing about 23% to 29% of snaps over the past few seasons. Standing tall at 6'7", Urban is known for eating up space and providing a solid presence in run defense and pass rushing situations. He's familiar with defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, having intersected careers with him on the Dallas Cowboys in 2021. There's even been some chatter about a possible reunion, especially considering Urban's tweet that said SRYDQ, when the Ravens announced he would stay with the team for 2024. His experience, size, and familiarity with Quinn's system could make him a valuable addition, especially as Washington looks to bolster its depth on the defensive line without making high-cost moves. But let's not forget, replacing Dietrich Wise isn't just about plugging in a player. Wise's versatility was one of the things the Commanders liked most about him. He could line up on the outside or move inside in certain situations, bringing a multi-dimensional threat to the pass rush. That's a quality that's hard to replace with a single player, especially someone who might be a rotational guy or a depth piece. The team's coaching staff and management will have to weigh whether they aim for a seasoned veteran like Clowney or Lawson, or if they prefer to develop one of their younger players or a versatile rotational piece like Holmes or Urban. Looking at the bigger picture, Washington's defense has shown flashes of promise this season. The defensive line, in particular, has been a work in progress, trying to find consistency. Wise's injury certainly complicates things, but it also opens up opportunities for other players to step up and prove their value. A player like Holmes with his versatility, Farrell with his familiarity, or even a seasoned veteran like Urban or Clowney, each brings something different to the table. The coaching staff, led by head coach Ron Rivera and defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, will need to adapt quickly, making strategic moves that can keep the defensive line formidable throughout the grueling NFL season. In terms of the overall impact, this injury could serve as a wake-up call for the Commanders. They now need to be aggressive in their search for reinforcements, whether that's through signings, practice squad elevations, or trade options. Though, as we all know, acquiring a player through a trade usually involves draft capital, and Adam Peters, the team's personnel chief, might be hesitant to part with draft picks at this stage of the season. Instead, he'll probably focus more on internal options and free agents. And let's not forget the importance of continuity and familiarity. In a league where chemistry on the defensive line can often make the difference between a good pass rush and a dominant one, having players who understand the system and can seamlessly slot in is crucial. That's why, despite some of the names on the market, the Commanders will have to evaluate what fits best with their current roster and long-term plans. As fans, we always want to see our team succeed, and injuries are part of the game. Wise's injury is a setback, no doubt, but it also offers an opportunity for other players to step into the spotlight. The team's depth will be tested, but it's also where some of the most exciting stories can emerge. Young guys fighting for a shot, veterans aiming to prove they still belong, and the coaching staff trying to piece together a cohesive, relentless pass rush that can challenge anyone in the league. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this situation? Do you think the team should pursue a veteran like Clowney or Lawson? Or do you believe they should give a chance to someone from the practice squad like Holmes or Urban? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of this team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and insights, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see how this story unfolds as the season progresses. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, hail to the Commanders.